One big question that I get a lot at my events is, how do I build a team? How do I start bringing in a manager? How do I bring in, people to help me run my social media? This video is talking more about how to build a team and what that process looks like.
Talk about 8 years process. You're doing a lot of stuff by yourself. Maybe down the road, can you describe what you continue doing by yourself, and maybe some key players that helped you elevate through the industry or connect to meet to put you in certain positions, or to alleviate some of your workload to focus on your art or what you really want to be doing, or what you continue to do by yourself today, and what else you got working with you behind the scenes, stuff like that?
Me personally, so, one thing I always keep the focus on, I always keep my eye on the ball, is the music, right? That part never goes in. I'm not trying to delegate those responsibilities to anyone else except myself. Now I can expand, right? I can sign producers, I can find other collaborators and kind of bring them into my world and collaborate, but the music always got to be there, right? And it's always changing, there's always new trends, so it's just a constantly evolving thing. As far as building a team, I'm very blessed and grateful now to have a small team of people that I work with. One of them being my business partner, Benton James, who Crash also knows. And actually, Crash started working with him first at Red Bull. So Benton was the former head of urban music at Red Bull. I've known the dude for 6, 7 years now, and we just started working together during the pandemic. We spent a lot of time just building that trust and that relationship, and nothing ever felt forced. We weren't like, it wasn't like the first time I met him, he was like, yo, let's figure something out, let's try to work, let's do business, let's do this. It was just like, yo, I'm in Atlanta, pull up to the studio and play me some music. That's all it was, And I think those are the best relationships to start building off of, because it's genuine, it's real. It took time to develop that trust and that relationship. And now, us working together, like, he understands my vision so well. I don't have to try and force anything. I don't have to explain anything to him. When we jump on these Zoom calls, like we were just on a Zoom call with the Walmart team, because we're about to do a campaign with Walmart. And I don't even have to talk. Like, Benton knows exactly what we're doing. And I'm a big believer in finding people who are like, just fans of what you do, and vice versa, right? Because there's no guesswork, and it just feels natural. So, Benton, obviously now he's my business partner. He handles a lot of any type of partnerships, any type of business. If you want to buy beats, if you want to, do a collaboration, it all goes through Benton, and he's got an assistant, Emily, who helps me a lot with this tour. I have a tour manager that's handling all this stuff remotely. We have an A&R who, if I'm looking for a feature on one of my records, he can start reaching out, right? So it's like, we got all these different components now to my business, but at the end of the day, I still have full creative control, right? That's my job. So as long as you bring in people who are great at what they do, and you're great at what you do, then that's when a partnership works.
Well, I would say that in my experience, when you chase those types of people and when you try to build a team without actually knowing yourself and being 100% dedicated to what you do and consistent in what you do, you just bring people around you that are really just trying to flip something and make profit basically off of you. But when you actually sit down and do the work and you become, a master of what you do, those people come into your life because they notice it. Those are the people that you want to work with.
100%.
Now, I will say this. Before Benton became my business partner, obviously I've known him for a long time, but before we actually started working together, I was solo dolo in my music career for about 10 years. So for 10 years, I was learning the ropes. I was building relationships with people like Benton. I was learning the business. I was perfecting my craft in the studio, just getting really good at making beats and producing, right? So I spent 10 years, day in and day out, doing all those things by myself and learning some basic graphic design, learning how to use Photoshop, learning how to use Final Cut Pro, which is how I'm editing all these course videos. I'm doing all that myself. Now, I could outsource, but I chose to just be very hands-on with the way that I put the this course together so that it flows and it makes sense for you guys that are watching this right now, right? So I have the options and I have the ability, but most importantly, I have the understanding of my own business. I feel like so many people are so quick to just hand off responsibilities and delegate other things to people just because they don't want to do it. But just because you don't want to do it doesn't mean that you can't know everything about it. You have to understand your own business and get your hands dirty sometimes. And if you learn, and the reason why you have to do that is because there are not going to be people in your corner from day one. So it's out of necessity mostly. Either you do it yourself or you spend the time and energy to find other people that are going to do it for you at that level, at that stage in your career where it's very early, right? So it's a matter of being resourceful enough, and we have all the tools and technology available to us. And honestly, it's not very hard. If you spend a little bit of time to learn how to do these basic skills, you'll actually, I feel like it's going to pay you back tenfold in the long term, as long as you're consistent with it, right? So these are all, big gems as far as like running your business and eventually finding the right people to help you build and scale your business. I always tell aspiring creatives, like, you got to get yourself to 50% first. Nobody is going to take you from 0 to 100. It doesn't matter how good you are, how talented you are, how good your music is. You have to get yourself to a certain point first so that people know that there's something to work with. The only reason why Benton stepped in to help me, aside from the fact that he knows my business and we have this working relationship, is because he knew that I was building a real business. I was already making 6 figures a year off of my music business before anyone stepped in to help me. So there's a lot that you can do to get yourself to a certain point first before you start building a team. And honestly, I feel like when the time is right, those people will find you. You don't have to find them.